of course, that probably means Turtle Rock will be a pendant and not required at all.
Well, see, if you find that ice rod early, it's a pretty good indication that you're probably never going to go into Turtle Rock.
Exactly. Okay, Uncle talking trash on the way out the door to our
Wow.
runners. Yeah.
I hope that guy gets what's coming to him.
Ooh, and I hope that's not a harbinger of things to come with 1 rupee in the first chest.
What's the most trolly first chest item? Is it the single arrow or the single rupee?
I think maybe the single rupee, because you really cannot do anything with that. At least with the single arrow, you might eventually fire it at some point.
Well, what if you're on the way to Zora, Justin Z, and you're at 499?
You're 499.
What then, sir?
That is true. You have a point.
Haha, Uncle got roasted.
Yes, he did. We also had Crystal 5 up at the Tower of Hera and a couple of other crystals in the other 2 Light World dungeons. So, ooh, how about some bombs real quick? So, it's turning around already for the runners.
Yeah, I really like it when you find bombs in the start of Escape, because then the game becomes less about who can get their 50-50 like bomb drop if it's in the drops, and more about just kind of an execution phase.
Agreed. And it as a runner too, it just is like, okay, that's easy. No need to worry anymore. Am I going to get lucky?
Well, I mean, there'll be plenty of time for worrying
that's true.
later when you're trying to find that one item. That comes later. The hammer is actually pretty interesting because it's really short hitbox, means that you really have to position Link correctly to, quickly kill these guards. And especially, I think the rat that has the key at the very end of Escape can be kind of a jerk
with the
hammer, because if you miss him the very first time, chasing that little bugger around just to bop him on the head is a little bit difficult.
Yep, he'll start dancing. You'll never catch up. It's just bad all the way around.
Yeah, I never thought about that. The animation where the rats are facing toward the camera when they're doing their little weight thing does kind of look like dancing.
Yeah. Tails wiggling back and forth. Alright, SageLord first into the blue guard room and picks up a map along with his key. Same drops for the runners. Sorry.
He has picked up a little bit of a lead over Vascos here. Mostly just from a little bit better movement, a little bit better luck with where the guards were moving for their RNG, but
yeah,
a few seconds is not a whole lot in the grand scheme of things, but who knows? 2 hits for the hammer, for the ball and chain guard, very nice.
Yep, finish that one off quickly, gets the key. Interesting, Vascos choosing the pot first.
I have a feeling he wanted to grab the heart from under there just for maximum safety.
Good point. So he gets it done as well. So with this early hammer, trying to think of what the progression could be. I mean, obviously that's half your, well, 1/3 of your ticket to the Dark World. But then what? Could we be talking about Palace of Darkness? Could we be talking about Ice Palace?
Yeah, it's really hard to tell. I think until we get more pieces of the puzzle from like Kakariko or the south of the South Shore routes, it's going to be difficult to tell.
Yeah.
I mean, for all we know, we could get double glove upgrades early, and then have both Hammer and Titan's Mids access to Dark World, and Aghanim will just be super not required.
Yeah, every runner's
maybe that's
favorite.
just me hoping that, because God, I hate Aghanim. I hate him so much. The nice thing about Hammer is that you generally make pretty fast time through Escape.
That's
if you're hitting this bookshelf area here anywhere under like 420 or less, you're doing pretty darn good. And with a hammer one-shotting almost everything, it's pretty quick. It
is. And SageLord was up those stairs toward that room right on the 4-minute mark, which is excellent time. So
SageLord picking up that safety heart. Not a terrible idea. It's really quick, and who knows what the rats will bring. He's taking the time to farm a little bit of snakes here.
Yeah,
maybe he's looking for money or bomb drops.
Takes 2 hearts of damage in the process as well, so you're gonna have to be a little careful. Oh, well. So,
maximum style points with the gloves.
Yeah, so unless we've got a moon pearl on the pyramid, or something that leads to it, that's pretty much it for Aghanim files.
Well, never say never, my friend.
No, I suppose. Ooh. There we go.
SageLord gets a nice rat RNG there.
Yeah.
Doesn't have to chase him too much.
Vasco's also down to 1 heart as he does chase his, but he chases him toward the right, which is not such a bad thing.
Alright, both runners using their bombs from the treasure chest. Neither one of them got bomb drops from actual chests.
We have Dark World access at 5 minutes 30 seconds.
Oh, see, now this is bait because entering the Dark World with only 3 hearts and a hammer is really rough, even for skilled runners. You know, like if you're trying to complete like Thieves Town with 3 hearts and a hammer only, I mean that's a tough call to make.
It sure
a lot of runners are gonna go, you know, continue the Kakariko loop, you know, look for other chests. You know, there could be more progression in this first sphere of unlocked items. So
there almost has to be, just mathematically speaking. So
I didn't bring my calculator. I can't. Don't make me do math live on screen.
Okay, I won't. We'll just pretend that that's absolutely true. But both runners out the front door of the sanctuary at about 6 minutes 15 seconds. And the world is their oyster at this point. They've got all kinds of places to go. But
well, we already found the pearl, so oysters have already been confirmed. Wait, are those clams? Am I getting my marine biology mixed up?
No, I think those are oysters.
All right, good.
Yeah, I think you got it. So Vasco's going the long way, gets trolled by the crow, picks up an extra 10 rupees for his trouble. Oh, the crab has 20s. That's potentially quite a good thing. Blue male up in the forest.
That is very welcome with early Dark World access.
And a big 20 on the Lumberjack Cave. So, really no reason to ever go there again. The flute in the Thieves' Hut in the forest.
Nice. Yeah, this is why diving straight to the Dark World would most likely be a bad idea.
Well, yeah, you're going to find things like this, and you've got really high item density in a couple of places in the Light World, so it's just worth it to check, especially when you're still only on 3 hearts, blue mail or not. You know,
yeah,
you'll find
SageLord picking up more time on Vascos here. You'll see a lot of runners kind of debate checking Aghanim Tree versus not doing it. It's a safer strat on a one-on-one like tournament situation, but it does cost a bit of a time.
Vascos, it's paying off a little bit for him as he has significantly more rupees now.
Hook shot, nice.
Wow. Oh, and the Sanctuary Heart. So we've got access to all of the fire rock.
What is going on? I love it. Blind's basement is telling us that this seed is hot fire.
It is. It's gonna burn the place down, and I mean, it just keeps opening up more and more. I'm gonna be very interested to see what these runners do next and how different paths they take.
Fire Rod is a bit scary because that puts like Skull Woods and Mothil on the table. And man, 4 heart swordless. Well, I guess they don't have a sword, so they can't open the open curtains there.
Can't quite go back there yet. Although you just said the word sword, so are we going to see one? No.
Man, if I could conjure up items in the randomizer by merely saying them, I would be 5-0 at this point.
Would be nice, wouldn't it? Oh, the scam at the bottle salesman.
Yikes! That guy's a jerk.
Ooh, Sage getting a little extra tune in before we all rise.
Yeah, had to make sure everyone was on the same key for the Swag Deck Orchestra. Vasco's picking up his money pile here in the well. Soggy money, but it still spends well.
Oh, yes, it does, especially if you're about to get scammed by the bottle guy. SageLord checking in with the sick kid, gets the bloomerang, so may make use of that at one single point later in the run in Ganon's tower.
Wow, threatens a small child and takes his only toy. That's pretty weak, SageLord.
Wow! Now. My goodness!
Honestly, of all the items to get in Kakariko with early Dark World access, the mirror is got to be one of the best ones for routing efficiency.
It is fabulous because now, go to Hype Cave, walk down, mirror out to check what's in the dam, go over to the Generous Guy Cave. I mean, yes. Oh, you can route this so well.
Yeah, there's a lot of options on the table at this point. I'd say the only thing stopping them from the dream of super clear routing is also picking up the Titan's Mitts. But let's not go crazy here.
I mean, we can dare to dream at this point, I think.
While I'm dreaming, I would also like the bow.
Speaking of dreaming, SageLord, he's headed up there. He's not going to waste any more time. He's not going to South Shore. Forget about it. Going straight into the Dark World.
Yeah, this is an interesting play. I mean, there's definitely a lot of chests here, and we haven't gotten a look at the Dark World, so we don't know what the pendant, the crystal situation is.
Right.
So if Moth ends up being a pendant, the urge to go in there is not going to be very high.
Yeah, you might see a quick check of the dungeon itself, but no particular reason to actually finish.
And with this blue mail, mail 6 hearts. Oh, okay. So Moth is a crystal. We got Green Pendant, Thieves Town, and the Pendants Pod and Mire.
Along with Swamp Palace being our last remaining Pyramid Fairy crystal.
I'm pretty stoked to see Turtle Rock be a crystal dungeon, because that means the Ice Rod from the seed hash could actually end up being true.
Yes, you're absolutely right about that.
All right, so Vascos making a similar choice to his opponent here.
Yeah, I'm surprised by this. I thought for sure, with this many possibilities, that it would not be a case where we had both runners head the same direction.
Yeah, other options included the kind of the South Shore Hype Cave combination with the mirror that you mentioned.
Mm-hmm.
There are a few other places they could go, but I'd say, the Village of Outcasts area and then the South Shore area were kind of the two biggest chest per minute plays. But
Yeah.
I mean, you're already here. Going to South Shore would require a save and quit to Link's house, so maybe they were thinking, I'm all about that sweet efficiency, yo.
Well, it's a good point. Although with that early flute, it changes things a little bit. It really takes away almost all of the time associated with moving around the map. So,
well, you gotta play a merry tune. You gotta wait for your buddy Doug to flap his way over.
True.
Then you got a menu to some numbers, and as mentioned, math makes my brain hurt.
All right, Sage now mirroring.
Well, they did skip this check from the beginning of the game, so. Wow, somebody left their inheritance inside the library.
In the library, that's an unusual place to lose it.
They tucked it away inside a book called How to Waste 300 Rupees.
Vascos opting not to mirror back where Sage did.
Maybe he'll catch it on the way back up if he's going back up. Who knows?
Yeah, quite.
Or maybe they're doing the Dark World loop after this, perhaps.
I've got a piece of heart at the race game. Quick shout out, by the way, to our tracker today. Much appreciated. Dragon Strike 1988. Thank you very much for taking care of the graphics down there for us, so we all know what's going on.
I wonder what year that guy was born in.
Yeah, it's a good question. We should maybe find that out.
I'm getting a team of investigators on that immediately. Oh, Vascos did remember.
Yeah, remembering he has a couple checks here.
All right, so we do have a Dark World loop here, looks like. And honestly, this is kind of a combination of the two routes we were discussing earlier.
It is, you're right.
Yeah, the advantage to doing it this way is you're getting a lot of stuff kind of marked off. Ooh, the flippers.
Oh.
Wow. Well, with Swamp Palace at Crystal, that is a confirmed 100% required item. No fake flipper outside the logic in your done shenanigans and tomfoolery here.
Absolutely not.
I don't stand for tomfoolery, sir.
Tomfoolery can be a real serious social problem, so I support your objection to it. Now, interesting that neither runner as well decided to at least check the front 4 of Thieves Town. It's such a quick check for up to 3 items.
Yeah, both runners deeming it not necessary.
Yeah.
I guess with the mirror, the problem with the front of Thieves Town check is that if there is something deeper in Thieves Town, you're basically never going to go there until like you almost have no options.
Yeah, it's probably true, although since it's a pendant dungeon, that's kind of already going to be the case anyway.
Very true. Maybe they were both thinking, I want like Cane of Samaria or a sword or something that if I do go into Thieves Town, I want to be able to go all the way and actually go blind, since he is the green pendant. And
there's the Cane of Burna in the Hype Cave, so perhaps...
That is entirely the wrong color cane.
True. You can still use it on blind, though.
Also true.
Yeah.
Vascos having bomb problems.
That can be a very annoying little thing to happen. SageLord placing his portal next to a... Oh, I thought he was going to maybe pull that statue.
I'm seeing a lot of 4 out of 10 hype caves. That sounds about right. Maybe 3 because there were no required items, and the only thing of nominal use in there was probably Cane of Burna.
Yeah, we can maybe revisit it if there's like bow on Spike Cave or something. That would retroactively increase the hype there.
Do we allow retroactive hype increases?
I think you can do that, you know, depending on the situation later.
You know, okay, I deem us judge and jury of the Hype Cave judging council, so yes, no. I say it's allowed.
Whoa!
Oh, wow. Generous Sky Cave.
Very generous. Now that's a 10 out of 10, I think. You got a sword and boots. You want to head back to Skull Woods? Go right ahead. You want to check a bunch of locations on the way up there? Go right ahead.
Yeah, this is going to be pretty important for SageLord because he opted to do this check. If he decides to go into Swamp Palace, which is what Vascos is doing, he'll have just a little bit faster of an execution. And Vascos is going to have to drop a bomb to get past his warp portal there.
Find the silver arrows. Nicely done using that glitch. He's going to go back into it. Now, I wonder what he could be thinking. He's... Oh my goodness.
Oh yeah, they've got hammer and hook shot.
He is going straight in.
Yeah, why not?
Wow.
I'd say the only real question on the runner's minds is, am I going left side swamp? I wonder if silver's like, is silver a metal that oxidizes? Like, you know, are those rusty silver arrows that were in that swamp?
I think silver is pretty resistant to oxidizing, although it'll tarnish, so it'll probably just not be very shiny.
That's true. Alright, so he'll have to polish those arrows before they get used on any blue pigs. Alright, that sounds good. All those years of practicing on my grandma's sterling silver is going to be paying off.
Oh man. One of the worst chores you could get as a kid.
Alright, we're getting a lot of chemists confirming our total lack of knowledge about metallurgy. So
fair enough.
Thanks, Chad.
Yeah, that's why I'm not a chemist.
Alright, so we've got swag hammer dash strats from SageLord here. Very nice.
Very nicely done indeed.
I wonder if having the boots is gonna make SageLord more apt to check left side swamp. Oh wow, that red Stalfos just being a huge jerk.
Seriously, get out of here, man.
Red Stalfos, I'd say they're in the top 3 most annoying non-boss enemies in this game.
Yeah, really, any of those, red or not, they're up there for me too.
Yeah, they're gross.
They are.
They're always in their way, throwing their bones at you. It ain't right. Alright, so, okay, big key in a pretty convenient location.
So Vascos might head to the back, but that doesn't necessarily mean he won't also check the left side later, especially with the compass being in the big key chest.
Yeah, with the compass, the big worry with left side swamp, for those that don't know, is that the last thing you want is to have both map and compass on the left side of swamp,
Yeah.
So you'll see a lot of runners opt to not go there until they've found at least one or the other, so they know it won't be a complete waste of time.
Whoa. Okay.
Yep. So SageLord opting to, now that he knows that there's an item on the left side from that big key chest, he is making the play over here.
He's changed his mind midstream, which is totally understandable. Gonna have to use the boomerang to get back there since the fighter sword doesn't reach.
Yeah, you called a single-use blue boomerang for Aghanim's tower.
That's true, I did.
You ended up being correct, just not in the correct way.
Yeah.
Oh, Cane of Samaria.
Wow. This seed. Could it be more open?
It's 20 minutes, and I'm already like doing the math on what items are left that are required. My brain hurts.
Yeah, I mean, you were just saying you don't do math, so that must be really, really tough on you.
Yeah, it's a paradox. I have a team of analysts, the same ones I was, sicking on our tracker to figure out what year he was born. I'm now switching them to required item duty.
That's probably a better use of them, although, I mean, if they keep this up, we're not going to need that at all. We'll just know. We'll be in go mode before we realize.
That's true. They're the laziest analysts because all they have to do is wait, and then, the runners end up getting themselves into go mode.
Yeah.
So because Vascos has no sword, unlike his opponent, he will have to do hammer strats for Argus here.
That said, his opponent very well may do hammer strats too, depending.
Yeah, I think the consensus is that hammer strats are a little bit slower than using fighter sword spin slashes, but it's a little bit more consistent, I think, with the hammer. It's just menuing, whereas the sword spins just require a little bit more execution.
And how about half magic over there for SageLord? Even the luxury items are coming out early.
Oh, wow. Okay, so there were 2 items on the left side. So if Vascos ends up deciding to go left side, he will lose a little time over SageLord because doing it before you go to the back is a little bit more time efficient.
Yeah.
Also, half magic, borderline worth it.
Mm-hmm.
Hard to tell. Very skilled runners will, never go out of their way for half magic, but never sad to see it.
For sure. All right, trying to time a hammer strike. With no magic, can't use the fire rod, which would have been a lot easier.
Yeah, and only 2 hearts left, so
yeah, gotta be
Vascos is going to have to be... Yeah, exactly. It's going to be 4 hammer hits here.
There he goes. Ooh, takes a hit on the way up from Argus. Let's hope that doesn't repeat. Oh boy.
Come on, Vascos. Get out your parachute pants. It's hammer time. Come on.
Got it.
Ah! And you even get the sweet pot destroy animation when you hit the final hit on him.
Gotta love it. And Vascos, with the first crystal of the seed at just under 23 minutes. Nicely done.
Yeah, definitely. That was a... hitting Argus with a hammer when he's running around like that is a lot harder than it looks.
It is tough. And then throw in the lack of health, and it's even more so. Dropping back in, so going to get his heart container and half magic too.
Yeah, I can't say I blame him. Doing the back first and finding out that there are indeed 2 items on the left side.
Yeah,
it's a pretty heads up play, but he is going to lose time here, both from the routing and the lack of boots. Since he's spending all this time walking back in, if you have the boots, you could be running.
Yeah, the boots is big. So, just for the sake of the race itself, we've got to hope first thing Vascos does when he leaves is head right over to the Generous Guy Cave and get them.
Well, and to be fair, the boots might not be big. They might both have small feet.
Good point.
Alright, so we see SageLord going for hammer strats here.
Yeah, it really is just something that you really need to practice, the spin slash strat. So the hammer strat, even though the menuing is annoying, if you're good at menuing just from general play, it's a little bit easier to do.
Oh, and again, in a low heart situation, the hammer is just a little bit more consistent. Plus, SageLord is going to having already had half magic, is just going to be able to burn this boss down, and does get the double hit. Very nice.
Very nice. Ooh, just missed it twice. There we go.
He'll be rewarded with his Quarter of a Heart, and picks up his first crystal. Alright, so it'll be interesting to see where SageLord opts to go next. He has already checked Generous Sky Cave and Hype Cave. So is it going to be a mirror flute to somewhere? That appears to be the case. Oh, I'm a big liar. He's picking up silvers first.
I would have forgotten about that personally. Okay, so where's he headed now?
Is he perhaps taking the pyramid route?
Yeah, looks like it.
Bolus pod, maybe?
Although with so much to do, why you would dive into a dungeon you can't complete yet?
Interestingly, does have access to Tower of Hera. I don't know. He's doing the
Okay.
the blind Lake Hylia Island check.
Why
A very
not?
rarely seen play, but
Yeah.
why not? Yeah, this is pretty solid routing here. Doesn't even take the time to pick up that heart container.
Nah, why would you? Vascos having a moment with himself.
He's spending time thinking about life. He was trying to get in touch with my tracker team, but that's pretty much a no-go when you're in the middle of a race. So
that's true. Don't want to be doing that. Okay, he is headed to the Generous Guy area, so
he's gonna be pretty annoyed, I think,
Yeah.
when he finds a sword and boots in here.
I think
But
you're right.
better late than never.
True. Very true.
All right, Hobo and Lake Hylia Island were a bust. So are we gonna see Death Mountain? I'm thinking probably yes. Yeah, there we go.
Yep, you nailed that one.
All right, Dark Old Man Cave with a sword. Pretty straightforward for runners of this caliber here. Meanwhile, Vascos picking up his sweet equipment.
Ooh,
That's
and
a solid 8 or 9 out of a 10 Generous Sky Cave right there.
It really is. Okay, and he heads back into the Dark World. He's going to do the same.
Yep. And honestly, even though Vascos got a little punished for it, this routing is just a little bit more efficient than what SageLord did, because it's a few less screen transitions.
Yeah.
It just ended up biting him because, you know, boots. Boots are a thing. They make you go faster.
They certainly do. Vascos, I think, maybe landed on the piece of heart, so had no choice in the matter to grab it. SageLord using the dash glitch.
So nothing in or on Spectacle Rock. So we'll be heading up to Tower of Hera here. It is worth noting that since we don't have access to the Book of Midori yet, both runners have made both Bombos Tablet and Ether Tablet a little bit hard to come back to.
True.
We'll see whether or not that becomes relevant. It might not be. All right, and yeah, Vasco's making a very similar play.
Yeah.
I wonder if both these runners were thinking, you know, when do I include this pyramid, you know, the Fat Fairy check into my route? Oh wait, I can get, you know, all these red crystals done. Let's just do it right away.
Yeah, it's a good point. Being able to do it together with your actual normal pyramid check is very nice. Interestingly, that Vascos didn't go save the old man, so he won't have the benefit of that starting point in his menu. Not
Very
that
true. Although with the flutes, a little bit less relevant. But it's such a quick check. I'd say maybe the only thing that's stopping him is that it's outside of logic. Maybe.
Maybe.
I just work here, man.
There's so much in logic, though, that you know you haven't touched yet, that it very well might actually be in logic. You just haven't visited.
Yeah, that's true.
So
And
yeah,
on the, you know, the list of things that Lantern unlocks in the logic is pretty low right now until they also find the bow for Palace of Darkness.
right.
All right, it's time to see how nice Trolldorm is going to be. Because SageLord has the Master Sword, he does have the option of doing sword spins or hammer hits.
He's going to do slashes. for the first two.
Well, 2 slashes equivalent to 1 hammer hit or 1 spin, so
Yeah.
1 more hammer hit or spin will kill Moldworm. All right, pretty good fight for SageLord there.
Yeah.
Moldworm cooperated.
Nicely done. Gets his map in crystal number 2.
And so I'm pretty sure that means Hera Basement.
I do believe that's correct.
But again, I can't. There's only 2 items in Hera, and again, counting is kind of like math, and I'm not doing it.
It's definitely related.
I ain't having it. My team of analysts is telling me that 1 + 1 is indeed 2, so it looks like the Hera Basement is on the menu.
He's going to go ahead and go for it. It's interesting call here because, again, there's just so much available, and this is one location that takes a while. But, as you alluded to just a moment ago with the tablets, when are you ever going to want to come back here?
Yeah, pretty much. I mean, they'll clear this entire area. SageLord does opt for coffee break strats here.
Yeah, very nice. Nice.
Maybe that's why he decided to go to the basement. He's like, you know, my tea kettle's been whistling.
Yes.
I can't abide by that. It's distracting. So he's gonna go prep some tea. There's no better time in the race to do it.
Oof. Vascos hanging on.
Oh, jeez. Well, did correctly handle. You know, you hold the right directions, and you know, there are ways to mitigate the randomness of the Moldworm fight. So Vascos handled that pretty well.
Yes, he did. Nicely done. 50 rupees in the basement of Hera.
Hashtag not worth it.
Yeah, exactly. SageLord headed to the east side of Death Mountain. Be interested to see if they get the Titans mid up here. That would be absolute. Well, or maybe they have small hands too.
Well, they would have to put the mitts on over the top of the power gloves.
That's just, yeah, to have them fit.
I would assume that that's how it works in, you know, in the lore. All right, so Vascos, it's pretty hard to skip these one-off locations when you're here.
It is tough. Yeah.
People tend to play a little safer in one-on-one scenarios, but so I don't blame either runner for going back down to Hera Basement. The beginning of this seed was just a plethora of progression items, but things have slowed down just a little bit.
We've still got 7 items ahead of us, though.
Oh my god. Did you math that out? I'm impressed.
I did somehow manage to do that.
Alright, so we got ourselves a Death Mountain East check here. Quite a few items in this area. As you alluded to, if mitts were here, it would make the routing very smooth.
Ooh, yeah. Like butter. And there they are!
He's a witch! Burn him! Throw him in the lake, see if he floats. Alright, well, that's going to be pretty sweet because now they're going to, with hookshot and mitts, they have access to the full Dark Death World check. So not only can they get all the items that are over here, but they also can eyeball up Turtle Rock and see,
yeah,
you know, what the required medallion is. Now, because both runners have 0 medallions, they can't even go into Turtle Rock yet, even though they have the Fire Rod and the Canis Samaria.
As you said, it'll be good information to know what they do need. And who knows, they now have 6 more items, not including Spike Cave. There might be a medallion in one of these locations.
Alright, it's the moment of truth here. If you find the Turtle Rock medallion on the way up to Turtle Rock, do you go in there without the Ice Rod? I mean, I feel like that would be a super bold call.
It would be an incredible call. If it worked out, you'd have to think you'd won the race on the spot.
Probably. I mean, but there's so many more required items. You know, we don't even have the bow, an Ice Rod, and Lantern. A Lantern technically required.
Yeah. No, I mean, it would be an unbelievable play if it worked out. It would be awfully tough to actually go through with it, though.
Well, you also have to think about what, you know, what the seed's logic was telling you. You know, having found Titan's mitts up here means that, you know, the seed wanted you to go up here because that's a pretty big progression item.
Yeah.
You know, maybe the seed was also pointing you toward if Mitz unlocked the Turtle Rock medallion, you know, maybe they'll be more tempted to go in. It's just hard to tell.
It is hard to tell. And suddenly money is no longer a problem for these guys.
Mo money, mo not problems.
Yeah. Absolute trash hookshot cave, though, generally.
Yep. So the dream of potentially getting access to Turtle Rock is dead. Honestly, the Sage Lord is probably relieved. He's like, I don't have to make that. I don't have to consider making that ridiculous call.
Exactly. Don't even have to think about it.
Unless you know, unless like Ether is in Spike Cave here.
Spike Cave.
That would suck, because not only would you would have the knowledge, but getting back to Turtle Rock is still a bit of a pain.
It is. I think at that point you could safely tell yourself, nah, there's absolutely no reason. I'm not quote-unquote right here anymore. It's way over there.
All right, so if Ether is in here, do we retroactively give Hype Cave more points because of Bryna here? Nope.
A moot question, unfortunately.
Nope. 2 or 3 out of 10. Actually, you know what? 2 out of 10 Hype Cave.
I think, yeah. And 2 is generous, I think.
Well, you know, the cane is similar in appearance to a really good item.
That's true.
So the Hype Cave was trying. You know, why you gotta hate on Hype Cave, man?
I mean, after how hype it used to be, I think every last bit of hate it gets these days is deserved.
Wow, so you're not giving Hype Cave any love from version 18. You're just you've already forgotten about all the good times it's given you.
It lost its passion. It needs to be called out for that.
That's fair. I can respect that.
Yeah.
Speaking of respect, the Seed respecting both of these runners, with Ether being the required medallion for both dungeons, and SageLord picking up his 3rd sword upgrade in the Mire Shed.
Speaking of the Seed respecting the runners, everything out there right now. What's on the desert ledge? 5 rupees.
Not very exciting.
No. But another...
You know what is exciting? Getting your 3rd crystal at Desert Palace.
And possibly inside 40 minutes, depending on how it goes.
You know, I'm seeing some talk disparaging Hype Cave in chat. Hype Cave is a lot worse in the past versions of this randomizer. In version 29 and 28, it's been a lot better than it was, you know, in the slightly earlier versions.
Yeah, that due primarily, I think, to a couple of the earlier versions having a dungeon item bias that is lessened significantly in these later couple of versions.
Yeah, agreed. And honestly, I think Hype Cave's in a pretty good spot. I mean, it should be a relatively valuable check just because of the fact that there's 5 locations.
Yeah.
I mean, that's a pretty high concentration of chests. So, you know, you should be rewarded for routing it in early, but you shouldn't be over-rewarded either, you know, unless it just happens to be the luck of the seed.
Right.
Alright, I need to get down off of this soapbox here. It hurt my ankles.
Amazingly, these guys still tracing each other's steps. Well, really, at this point, Vasco's tracing SageLord's steps, but if the roles were reversed, we'd have it the same way. So that this is continuing is really quite remarkable.
Yeah, they've been, you know, given the large, you know, variety of options that they had in front of them, the fact that they've made very similar decisions is quite incredible. I mean, they've all been smart decisions, and honestly, the only reason that, well, not the only reason, but one of the reasons that SageLord is ahead is just, you know, opting to check Generous Sky Cave before going into Swamp.
Right.
And slightly different routing choices inside that dungeon has given him maybe about a minute or so lead, but...
Man, this is
I'm seeing a lot of questions in chat about where one of the sword upgrades was.
Oh, yeah.
The reason Vascos has Master Sword and SageLord has Tempered is that SageLord did check the Dark Old Man cave in Death Mountain, which had a sword upgrade.
You have to imagine Vascos ought to do that eventually, but for the time being, he's going to be a little bit handicapped relatively.
Well, maybe he doesn't have as good a relationship with his grandfather, man.
That's a good point.
Maybe he's like... Maybe his grandfather is just a jerk, and he'll never get that sword upgrade.
Just
not everyone gets a sweet inheritance like SageLord does.
Yeah, although if Vascos does get it later, it will actually be a sweeter inheritance than SageLord got.
Very true. Alright, so we got Fire Rod strats, since neither runner has the bow.
And the pretty non-cooperative Landmolas. pattern, to be frank, but SageLord powers through it and gets a heart container.
Well, more importantly, he also gets a sweet, sweet crystal.
Crystal number 3. Just shy of 40 minutes.
39. Yeah, that's pretty good. Although, you know, this, as mentioned, this was a pretty generous seed. We had full Dark World access at 5.5 minutes or some nonsense.
Yes. True nonsense.
Alright, so SageLord is probably going to check Checkerboard Cave, which is fun to say, and also solid routing.
It is. And then maybe even a drop down into Agina's cave since he's right here.
Yeah, I'd say Agina's cave borderline skippable, but Ice Rod is such a weird item in the logic. It could be just about anywhere.
Just about, yeah.
So skipping it when you're here would be a tough call to make. I mean, if you don't check this now, when are you ever going to come back?
Meanwhile, Vascos on his way into the Landless fight.
I'm trying to think of where SageLord is likely to go next. Now that they have their crystals, they could do the Fat Fairy, Pyramid, Catfish, turn in the Mushroom route.
Yeah, that's true.
They could also go into Bolus Pod, which would be probably something they would do after the first thing I said.
Well, we're getting the start of this pattern. It seems to be what he's
It's
thinking.
good to be right.
Yeah.
Although every single time I say that, they end up going somewhere else. So although to be fair, I don't know where else SageLord could be going.
No, there's not a lot of places, and it's such an early opening for the Pyramid Fairy that the potential value is significantly increased.
Yeah, agreed. The routing ends up being relatively convenient for it too.
Yeah. If you're gonna head this way anyway, why not?
I'd say if they didn't do this, their other options would have included going back to do Mothula, since that is now on the table,
Yeah.
and they're gonna have to do it anyway. Or Ice Palace, I think, would have been the other choice, but they didn't do it because Ice Palace.
Yeah,
It's cold. It's
makes
long.
makes it loom even larger, I think, just because it's sitting there calling out to them. They've had the fire rod for a long time.
Run me!
Yeah.
Run the Ice Palace! I take forever, and I'm not very convenient in routing.
And yet I have stuff inside all the time.
Exactly.
Never fails, it seems like.
Oh,
there's our
wow!
Ether Medallion! Oh, wow!
So, Turtle Rock and Misery Mire. See, this is the worst part about having the medallion be in both palace, or being the same for both palaces.
Well, and being the same for when you have mixed dungeon types. You've got a crystal and a pendant between the two of them. Oh, wow. Man.
Well, we've got Vascos. You know, since these runners are basically following each other's footsteps.
They've got each other on Discord, I guess. I don't know. Like, yeah, I'll go this way. Okay, yeah, I'll go this way too.
I'm pretty sure they don't, because that would be against the rules. Yes, but it sure seems like it.
It's amazing. It really is.
Well, it just goes to show you that you know, runners of a high caliber that think about the game in similar high-level ways will often make similar decisions.
Oh, and the lantern.
You know, not exactly required, but nice to have. You know, just because you're capable of doing, like, you know, the Dark Misery Mire room doesn't mean that it's not faster without the lantern.
Exactly.
I'm not a gambling man, but I would have to say that I think this race may come down to who can find the Ice Rod. We've still got the bow and a few other things left on the table, but man, that Ice Rod is just scaring me.
It's definitely looking like it's going to be that same old refrain.
I'd say the most annoying thing possible is that bow would be in Turtle Rock, and then Ice Rod would be bow locked in in like pod or something.
Yeah, that would be pretty gross. All right, bombs from Catfish. So what do we have in the Waterfall Cave? This has been open for a while too, but nothing exciting.
Yeah, that's true. This has been in the logic since the South of Haunted Grove check. Although they've had much better things to do until now.
True, they certainly have.
SageLord taking his portal accidentally.
Easy to do when you're swimming
He thought
around.
Zora was Dr. Dre because he almost forgot about him. I got pity chuckles from Justin Z. I'll take it. That's as good as real laughter in my book.
And when it comes to like dad joke style stuff, you know, I mean, what more can you ask for?
Oh, obscure 90s rap references. That's what I'm all about.
Yeah.
All right, let's see what Jerkface Zora's got here.
Yeah, just about what you'd expect.
Yeah, I wouldn't touch Zora's old bomb bag either.
Ugh. No thanks.
All right, so this is a pretty big moment for SageLord here. I wonder if he's going to do the Flanctuary chests, or if he's going over to Skullwoods. He'll probably do Skullwoods into that, maybe. Nope, he's going straight to Kingston.
Doing it the other way. Okay, interesting.
I mean, it's so quick. It's so quick to check this, and routing it in with the graveyard ledge that requires the mirror is kind of a pain. Maybe he's banking on this, you know, maybe just doing this quick and seeing what's in there.
Yeah, if you're gonna ignore graveyard ledge, then it's the right play, obviously. What if we see Vascos diving toward Ice Palace? We'll finally have divergent routes, and it could be something that changes the outcome. Oh, the shovel.
Oh, shovel. Gross. That's going to be really tough to route in, actually, because both of these runners have already completed kind of the Dark World South Loop. You know, they've already been to the old Stumpy area.
Right.
So if they want to turn in that shovel, they're going to have to go look for it manually.
Yeah. Just if they start at Link's house and head west, pretty much.
I mean, it's a pretty quick check for boot, or you know, with the boots, but
the boots helps.
You have to specifically go out of your way for it. SageLord, speaking of going out of your way, checking the lumberjack tree. His opponent had already checked that.
Right.
So a little bit of time gain for Vascos there.
A little bit, and he is going to go ahead with the check of the shovel. It looks like. Yep.
I could dig this routing.
Oh, yes, you can.
All right, let's see if SageLord gives us any sweet shovel dash strats.
Some swag.
If he wants useless meme points from me. Oh,
he'll get them from me too, but no, he rejects them, and is duly rewarded with a red boomerang. Vascos,
the crappier of the two boomerangs.
Making a divergent play, but kind of routing in what SageLord already did. We think he'll check the graveyard ledge too.
Yeah, I like this routing from Vascos. It's a crystal. You're gonna have to do it anyway. The only reason to put this off is if you think you would be able to get the book, so you could maybe look at pedestal. But I mean, that's such a long shot.
Yeah, it is. 5 rupees. 5 icy rupees.
Yeah, those are very on lore rupees for Ice Palace there. I'm digging the flavor. And
SageLord also making a different play now. Of course, neither runner.
I kind of like this play. He's checking Nahashwa's garage, I think.
Yeah, which neither runner has done. So it's hard to believe at almost 50 minutes in that neither runner has been over here. But that's the way the seed has been.
Yeah, that's kind of the disadvantage of having had access to all these progression items, is that you forget these. Oh my god! Oh, wow! See, that's the exact fear. I think that's exactly what drove SageLord to check this out. Was he was worried that his opponent might have been here before him, so he might be feeling like he's behind with this bow get, but he is most definitely not.
And he's going to reroute a little bit, get pod open, and use the mirror, or is he?
Or not. He's so excited about that bow, he's like, I must go shoot Armos Knights.
Well, what? Okay, well,
can you blame him, though?
No, absolutely not.
I can. Bad routing. Boo.
I mean, it is. But, yeah, the Armos Knight excitement, I guess, can overtake anybody. Vasco's got to be really careful.
Jeez.
My goodness.
Oh, wow. See, that's why you get the safety potions.
That's true. Wow.
You can potion if you want to.
There we go. You can potion if you want to. Okay, so another crystal in the books for these guys.
Yeah, I mean, the only reason to not route in, you know, I was joking about the routing before. Pod is a pendant, but keeping, you know, and I guess since SageLord hasn't done, you know, like Lost or Skull Woods and stuff like that, like Vascos has, he might be a little less willing to commit to the pod check.
That's a good point.
But you know, if you're not going to do it now, going back to pod to check it is a pretty tough call to make. So
agreed.
Maybe he's thinking, you know, bow was technically available in the first sphere of items that were available. You know, maybe he feels like bow is probably not a progression item and just something that was available from the beginning of the game. But with that ice rod kind of being the linchpin item right now, it's a really tough call to make, I think, to figure out, you know, how to read the logic for the ice rod.
He's going to skip that chest.
I'm a little confused.
What?
Oh no, he.
Okay.
No, he was so excited. Like, all that's going through SageLord's mind right now is I can murder some Armos Knights with this bow I just found.
And maybe I've gained telepathic abilities, like, out of this excitement, and I know there's a compass in there, so I'm just going to skip it. Oh, maybe I should just go back. And it was. Well, headed straight to the back as well.
Yeah, the Ice Palace gamble here. Or, excuse me, Eastern Palace gamble.
Eastern Palace gamble, yeah.
The Ice Palace gamble comes late.
Yeah.
So I have a feeling we're going to be seeing a flute out of SageLord, and he'll be going to either Skull Woods or Ice Palace. Probably Skull Woods first.
That makes a lot of sense, because you're going to go through there anyway. Oh, Igor got activated by accident. Meanwhile, Vascos looking for that second item and finds it. It's a 5-bomb upgrade, so nothing in Skull Woods to speak of. But he will have an extra check.
Crystal.
Well, yes, of course.
Alright, so we'll have to see where Vascos decides to go. The big item that we're all going to be looking out for at this point is that ice rod. And honestly, it wouldn't be Link to the Past randomizer if we weren't looking for the ice rod or the Cane of Samaria.
No, it would not.
Alright, so just a bottle in the Bumper Cave. Well, a bottle and a whole bunch of murder dactyls.
Yes. Thankfully, Vascos has picked up red mail, so not as murdery as normal.
Wait, what was that word again?
Murdery, I think.
Okay, good. I like it. It's very flavorful.
Yeah. So we do have this interesting twist with the graveyard ledge. It's going to be the only difference here. Vascos will check one more location than SageLord did.
Yeah, and I mean, you know, sometimes races just come down to, you know, making the high percentage plays versus making the completionist kind of plays.
Mm-hmm.
So this is a more complete routing solution from Vascos, but it is a little bit slower than what SageLord did.
Yep.
It would be pretty amusing if literally, like, almost the only divergence between the two runners ended up being the difference.
Yeah. But no, 20 rupees.
The haunted graveyard ledge only has $20.
Yeah, I mean, the library had 300. I mean, come on.
If we're hoping for a flavor win, you know, we could be thinking Ice Rod and Ice Palace.
That's
I mean, that would be, you know, that would make sense.
And it happens more often than I care to think about, to be perfectly frank. So, yeah, a very real possibility.
Well, I don't care to think about Ice Palace very much at all, sir.
Exactly. Vasco's back to 3.
Oh, God, is he going to Thieves Town?
Looks like he is. It's a quick check.
Yeah? I mean, for all we know, Ice Rod could be in there. The longer he puts off Sahashwala's garage, though, I think the more time SageLord's going to gain on him.
Yeah, potentially. I mean,
True, it all depends on where that ice rod is.
Yeah. As important as the bow obviously was, it has almost no bearing on, and in fact we know it has no bearing on where the ice rod is, unless it's like on Helmasaur King or something like that. So
true. Much cleaner Mothula fight for Sage Lord there.
That's the
potion free.
Magic. Potion free, and the difference between a tempered sword and a master sword on that fight is massive.
Very true.
All right, so Vasco's also going to do some of this stuff.
He's doing the frog friend.
Doing Froggy. He's never checked what's on the library shelf. He ends up at the ledge of the cliff and jumps off somehow.
Oh no. That is unfortunate.
That is unfortunate.
So if he wants that warp back, he's going to have to... that sucks.
It does.
There's no other way around that. That's just unfortunate.
That is very unfortunate. Both our runners have turned in. Now what's he doing?
Is he going to do the shovel?
Oh, yes, he is.
Attaboy. Yeah, shovel and then flute.
That makes sense. Yeah.
Yeah, he wants to take the Smith on a he thinks it's like the never-ending story, and he wants to ride Swagduck / Falcor with his buddy.
Yes.
I mean, he's only going to be rewarded with the crappiest boomerang.
The worst one that just likes to fly off the screen.
Stupid lagarang. Losing pixels.
Both runners did turn in the mushroom, which makes it just that slight little bit of interesting possibility that somewhere is the powder, and then the powder leads to the ice rod. And there's no way for them to get it out of sequence now.
That is true. Alright, so Vasco's heading over with his frog buddy, with actual Dark World access, not locked behind some kind of cliff.
Yes. Alright, Peg Cave, that's another one.
Yeah, I mean, this is a pretty decent check. I mean, there are a lot of chests over here for Vascos. I do like this play.
Yeah.
Just, we know that he will eventually have to get over to Sahashla's hut.
Oh, now we see SageLord headed east. Gonna look at the bumper cave.
Is he gonna route in Graveyard Ledge? I have a feeling he's going to. So now Vascos' routing will have ended up saving him a bit of time over what SageLord is doing right now.
Yeah.
He has to go all the way back over here again.
Yes, even with boots, it costs you some time.
Neither runner having access to Book Midori yet means that Vascos can take this treasure chest and literally just fly it down to Gary, bring him his lunch.
Nice and easy.
He'll be running low on options at this point for Vascos. I wonder if he's going to go do Ice Palace or if he's going to go check the Sahasrahla area.
Oh, the cape. Too bad it's not worth anything because we know it's on Bumper Cave.
Yeah, I mean, with half magic, that does make the Ganon fight pretty free.
And Vasco's about to get his tempered sword.
Honestly, worth the time investment, even if you knew exactly what was here. Tempered sword saves you enough time over Master Sword where it would be worth picking up, I think.
Oh, yeah.
I mean, obviously he doesn't know that it's here. But...
No, and it's a 20-second check, and you get the save and quit location. SageLord, he's headed in.
Oh, he's doing it. The madman. So now he's got the bow, and he's choosing to do Thieves Town over Pod.
Yeah.
I wonder if he is doing this because he thinks it's a quicker check, or if he's worried about what his opponent might have done.
Vasco's.
Oh, it's Ice Palace. Wow. So almost an hour into this scene, and we're seeing our first real, true route divergence here.
Significant one, yes. This very well may be it, or it might be in Pod. We're about to find out.
Well, the only advantage I could think of is, I mean, this is a play that makes a lot of sense for both runners for what they've got respectively. Vascos is still looking for bow and ice rod.
True.
Whereas SageLord is just looking for that ice rod. The only thing I can think of is that if Vascos ends up finding Ice Rod in here, he might be more tempted to think that Bo is in like Turtle Rock, and that might lose him some time.
Yeah, you would hope for his sake that because he'd never even checked Sarasrala's hut, that he would be more inclined to at least go over there before he made the commitment. But you don't know. 20 rupees in the first chest, so 1 out of 3 knocked out.
That means that also means that we've got slow Ice Palace, unfortunately.
Yes,
no small key, really.
Unless we get one downstairs, that's the last chance.
Oh, the dream's not dead. There's still 2 glorious locations in Ice Palace that can contain an item. I don't know why they're glorious. This dungeon's garbage. Straight garbage. Quote me on it.
Consider it done.
Although, to be fair, Ice Palace is one of those dungeons that when you first start running this randomizer is kind of annoying and hard to route in. But I think the more into interesting like speedrunning tech you get, this dungeon actually becomes pretty interesting. There's a lot of unique bomb jumps, and ways you can route this dungeon with or without hook shots and Cane of Samaria, and kind of understanding what the logic wants you to do. This dungeon is actually probably one of the most interesting dungeons when you think about it. It's just such a pain to have to full clear, even if you know what you're doing. It
is a pain, but you're right. The logic issue, especially. So many different things that you can be told by the way the items fall.
Yeah, very true.
The big key, where it is, and all sorts of things like that. So yeah, it's pretty cool.
Yep, and depending on whether or not Cold Stare has a small key, that means different things are locked. Like it's definitely interesting.
And Vascos, he's just opting, I guess, to.
Oh, it's clearing right side. Yeah, without a small key and having hookshot. This is pretty straightforward way of doing it. All right, SageLord is making the similar play. So if it turns out Ice Rod is in here, SageLord will have the advantage.
Yes. It might be a very short-lived one, but he will have it for that time being.
I mean, SageLord's basically got a crystal dungeon up over Vascos at this point.
Yes, he does.
So yeah, we'll see if it's a flavor win. If the cold rod is in the cold place doing the cold thing.
Being cold to everybody who's looking for it.
Alright, so there's the compass. I think probably the most interesting thing that could happen is if there's absolutely nothing in Garbage Palace.
Yeah. That would... Oh,
so we've got double 20 rupee.
Yep.
I love it. Ice Palace sucks. God, I hate this place. It's cold and never has anything.
Yeah. So I'm thinking, right, so we've got the chest with the freezers. We've got this one here. Okay, just the small key there. So probably the freezers chest is the big key. Is that logically required? It's always confusing when you bomb jump it.
Yeah, I am. Again, don't do math.
Yeah.
It's bad. It's scary.
Yeah, there it is. So Vasco's hoping, and he is going to risk it without checking the jelly chest, which could have the third item. Oh boy.
Yeah, that one room. Well, he could be coming at it from this way. I mean, you could still go up through the door.
That's true. It's just very slow rather than bomb jumping across.
Yeah,
he is going to do that.
He might not be comfortable with the bomb jump, but as I mentioned, I mean, there are a ton of bomb jumps and tech for Ice Palace.
True.
And all those tricks, I wouldn't say any one is particularly hard, but they do require specific knowledge. So if you haven't practiced it and, doing it live in front of a broadcast, race, he might not be comfortable doing it.
This is a fair point, yeah. This is just such a pain to have to route this way. This horrible ice physics, the firebar room here. But he's there, so now what will it be? The item he's looking for. No, it will not.
So the Ice Palace gamble would have paid off.
It would have.
Stupid. That chest room. God, I hate this palace. It's cold and lame. Ooh, nice hookshot tech from Vascos there.
Yeah,
in that firebar room.
All right, so he's on his way back down.
Yeah, the only way that that routing is worth it is that if you were really hungry and there was not a Chipotle anywhere around you.
Yeah. Free burrito. Free frozen burrito.
Frozen. Well, that would fit the stereotype of the video game playing nerds, you know, going after those frozen microwave burritos.
That is true. Just stopping off at Circle K for one of those things.
All right, so loser face cold stare's got one item. Nice fire rod usage by Vascos there, getting that without getting hit by the ice chunks. Oh, and a very clean.
That off. Wow.
That was a very clean cold.
And another big play. Oh.
This is why I Ice Palace is garbage. Quote me on that.
Oh. Never stop saying it.
Oh my god. So in case you hadn't figured out, Justin, not a fan of Ice Palace.
You don't particularly dig Ice Palace, huh?
No, I mean I don't know if I've made it clear or not. So speaking of bomb jumps, here's that bomb jump setup. SageLord looking for the right pixel does have it. Yeah, he does. So this will make it slightly faster.
Where is he going? Oh, he's going to Ice Rock Cave.
Yeah, Vascos has a couple of one-off places to check. You know, I would say that if Ice Rod at this point is most likely either in Pod or in Turtle Rock itself.
Yeah, you do have that wild card of Meyer, but it's pretty unlikely. Uh-oh. Oh, there we go. No more PowerPoint, please.
Vascos.pptx.
Yeah.
All right, so SageLord making his way through Stupid Palace.
Also some decent hookshot tech through those obstacles. Nicely done. And Vascos making the play to...
I think if you're Vascos, you pretty much... Like, if you find the bow in Sashla's garage here, you've got to be feeling behind. I mean, he'll have found this almost 15 minutes after his opponent, who also probably felt like he was behind when he found it.
Possibly, yeah.
I wonder if he'll do, if he'll go activate the portal and do the thing we thought Vascos was going to do, or that SageLord was going to do.
Right. No, I think...
I've been drinking.
I mean, it's a little bit of extra time invested, but you set yourself up so that if you finish Eastern not finding that ice rod, you can just go right back in again to Pod. But no, looks like Vascos 2 is just going to head straight to Eastern.
Alright. Pretty solid cold stare fight for SageLord also.
Yeah, that's just fine.
Getting the grouping to get multiple hits with the fire rod on cold stare is requires some pretty precise timing. It's pretty difficult.
Yeah.
But I mean the difference there is just a couple of seconds. So still a very well done fight by SageLord. And he's done with stupid lame Palace, so he'll get to leave with his $60 and shame.
And yeah, feeling of rejection.
Now what SageLord does right now, I know we said it before, but the game could be decided right now with where SageLord decides to go. And he's going to Pod.
Oh, wow. This doesn't bode well for Vascos, who will probably do the same thing, just later.
Yeah, or he could say, I found the bow so late. Let's just,
Yes.
he could say, screw it, I'm going to Turtle Rock. Like,
That's true.
Who knows? We have no idea what these runners are going to do.
Oh, man. Such a jet seed.
Yeah, I mean, we're at 1 hour 8 minutes, and we've basically got everything we need except for that ice rod.
That one little detail.
And of course, with Pendant Pendant Palace of Darkness, you've got when you're just looking for your last go mode item, your routing of Pod can be, very different because you just want to get to the goods in the back of Palace of Darkness. But ideally, you want to get back there with the big key so you can check the big key chest. So we'll see how SageLord decides to approach this.
Not bow locked. It's interesting in context.
Yeah, well, not having both runners feeling like they might have gotten bow late, and then finding that Palace of Darkness was not bow locked.
Not bow locked. Yeah.
You're just like, God damn, Alice hates me. So SageLord opting to, even though he got a key first, opting to go for the full right side of Palace of Darkness. I wonder if he's trying to kind of maximize his bets that he'll have more chests check for the big key and or small keys to get more chests in the back. So I do like this routing choice.
Yeah.
Well, Vasco's having a little trouble with the red Igor there.
Yeah.
Actually, both SageLord and Vascos had trouble with red Igors in this seed.
So
I guess the eyes have it.
The eyes do have it this time. SageLord big key. So be curious to see actually. Okay, he is going to go ahead and drop down here first, which yeah, there's a chance there's an item in this location. I think.
Yeah, I'm not the greatest at pod small key logic decision making, so I'm gonna let you have this one, man.
Yeah.
Oh, Vascos is leaving. Oh my God, he's going to
throw it. Oh wow!
Oh no!
Oh!
SageLord gets the ice rod in Palace of Darkness. The same exact instant that Vascos leaves to do ice rodless Turtle Rock.
Oh.
Oh man.
That is. Oh, that's just so cruel, but that's Randomizer.
Oh, way to take the tension right out of the scene, SageLord. God.
Yeah, for sure.
Well, this is bad news for Vascos, obviously.
Yeah.
If both of these runners had Ice Rod in their possession at this time, this would be an insanely close race.
It would be amazing.
But unfortunately, Vascos is missing that Cold Rod.
Man.
So SageLord is going to get to Go-Mo Turtle Rock for what it's worth. He'll basically skip Mimic Cave, and depending on the small key layout, he may or may not skip the big key chest for small keys in Turtle Rock. So the time difference in Turtle Rock itself will be relatively minimal. But Vascos is going to get all the way through here, get to Laser Bridge, and discover that Ice Rod is not here. So he'll have to leave, climb Death Mountain again, and redo Turtle Rock.
Oh, it's really cruel.
But yeah, the decision wasn't. I think from Vascos' point of view, I think he's thinking, you know, I got the bow so late.
Yeah.
That if something was in pod, I probably already lost. So let's just go to Turtle Rock and hope that the Ice Rod is in here. So I have a feeling that was probably what was going through his head. We can certainly check in with him if he wants to do an interview afterwards.
Yeah, and I mean, he'd be right, at least in the sense that he would have been behind if he made the same play as SageLord did. So would it have been insurmountable? Maybe not, but quite possibly. So
yeah, well, I mean, it would have been the difference between, you know, it would have depended on how we did pod routing. You know, some people don't do right side pod first when they get a small key. Like some people like to go into pod and then get the chest next to the bombable wall and then go down to the basement and pod, and that, you know, that would have meant he would have gotten the Ice Rod a little faster,
a little quicker.
So, yeah, the difference there might have been, you know, GT big key routing or execution in the gauntlet.
Yeah,
but unfortunately that was not the case.
Small margins. There's the big key, so SageLord will be inclined to skip the lava island chest.
Whereas Vascos will have to check it because he's still on the lookout for that Ice Rod.
Yep, he's got no choice. Quick work of the pokey, but now the chain chomps. And they're pretty trolly with that kind of, even eating up Vascos' block. He's able to deal with them. Much nicer to SageLord.
Yeah, there is a bit of RNG as far as how those chain chomps choose to behave and which directions they go.
Yeah.
All right, so this will be where Vascos' small quote-unquote lead going into Turtle Rock is going to go away because he's going to have to check this chest. And by lead, I mean appearance of lead.
Yeah.
The way those bunnies' ears are tied back is just adorable, by the way, in that spread.
I like it too. Ooh, the butter sword.
Delicious butter.
So,
well, the one consolation Vascos will have is
Yeah.
that he's got something to spread over his toast.
He does.
Is that worth it? I leave that for chat to decide.
Chat, yeah. Go ahead and leave your opinions. I'm not sure it does, but you can try to convince us. Yeah.
But you know, maybe some people really enjoy butter.
Maybe.
I'm not here to judge.
I mean, carrots are delicious too, and that's what SageLord's got.
That is very true.
Yeah.
Although some people call it, you know, the Cheeto sword.
Yeah, which, I mean, again,
Delicious.
all kinds of good stuff.
So SageLord will be rewarded for his checking of the big key chest there with a small key.
Yeah, that's a gamble I've never felt comfortable making, because you might end up costing yourself a lot more time than it would ever cost you to just make the check. And
yeah, I mean, when it pays off pretty big. You save yourself several screen transitions, probably almost a minute. Now that might be generous, but a pretty good amount of time. But when it doesn't pay off, you cost yourself an equally bad amount of time.
Yeah, and the pain of the laser bridge.
the literal pain of the laser bridge.
Yeah.
So Vascos has got to be thinking, oh god, I'm getting further and further into Turtle Rock, and I still haven't found that rod that makes things chill out. And we already know that he's not going to find it, unfortunately. Wow, SageLord getting trolled by that Helmasaur, mini Helmasaur.
Ooh, gets revenge with the Cane of Samaria blast, however.
Yeah, if you want to do the cool Samaria dash trick, you do have to kill that Helmasaur with a swipe, because otherwise he gets in the way.
He almost always does.
Alright, so Vascos made the same key decision that SageLord did, but because he had to check that extra vanilla big key chest, he is a key down, and he's also, importantly, an ice rod down.
Yeah.
Oh, Vascos. Trying to smash that button. Meanwhile, pretty relatively clean Trinex start from SageLord. We'll see if he gets the quick kill with the spins and the slashes here. Pretty close.
Yeah, not bad at all.
If Trinex is really close to the bottom of the wall, you have a little less time to execute that than you would like.
Right.
Cool. Well, now SageLord knows where the boss is in the dungeon with that compass.
Exactly. Handy. Well, that is the 7th crystal for SageLord, and that means we've got a little game on our hands. I think everybody knows the deal by now.
What does it mean we eat delicious burritos?
No burritos involved, but guessing which chest the big key in Ganon's tower is involved. Now hurry, because we've got to stop this right as SageLord gets into the tower.
Yep, so remember, those who have subscribed or donated 250 bits to any of the Speed Gaming channels are eligible. So one of the things I like to do when I'm guessing the big key location, Justin Z, is instead of guessing a chest, I like to guess a room, because that secretly gives me 3 or 4 extra chests.
Yeah, it's a good strategy, I have to say.
Alright, so chest number 1 and 2, importantly, don't have the big key, and they also, importantly, don't have a small key, so that means right side, like vanilla right side strats are not on the table.
Right.
The only way you'd be able to go right side now is if you did like a Dark Magician route. Oh, Vascos is going into Thieves Town.
Yeah.
No!
Not the
Can't
right
say
play.
I blame him.
No, same idea behind this potentially too.
Yeah, I mean, he might be thinking, you know, if Ice Rod was in pod, I've already been host, so...
Yeah, and if there was a bow lock and I got the bow late, as open as the seed was. And there's the big key.
Oh, wow.
Chest number 4.
Yeah, that is correct. 4 was the number. So if you guessed 4, you are the WinRAR.
Now one of us
got some questions in chat. I mentioned the Dark Magician route. One of the players of this game named Dark Magician came up with a route where you immediately go left side. So you go straight to kind of Bob's torch, and then go to the that Stalfos room where the big key was, and then you mirror out and go right side. That route was invented, I believe, because Dark Magician hates Red Stalfos and doesn't want to have to kill him, so you can just mirror out.
Not only that, it does give you a fair number of chests in the process fairly quickly. There we go. We nailed that
great
one
minds think alike.
simultaneously. Yeah.
I've been like a second behind you for all the commands, so you win the big key type fest. Well done, sir.
Thank you very much.
I doff my hat to you.
It's the small victories.
It's the little things in life.
Exactly.
Oh, that silver arrow snipe was so close. I thought he had it. Alright, so not... Oh, okay, that was a pretty solid room there. I was going to say, the Gauntlet hasn't been going up amazingly well for SageLord, but has gotten some nice enemy movement luck in both of these last 2 rooms.
Yeah, nice little mini recovery there at the end. Vascos, meanwhile, seems like he might be a little bit on tilt as he's down to 2 hearts. Probably just distracted. Not feeling great the way it's going now.
Yeah, with how open the beginning of the seed was, I think I have a feeling he probably knows that he's a little behind.
Yeah.
Meanwhile, SageLord making his way through each floor of Ganon's tower here. Doesn't have Butter Sword, but still managing to make his way through quite well.
Yeah, nicely done.
Man, killing those Wiz Robes with the Cane of Samaria will always be satisfying.
One of the best feelings in the entire run, isn't it?
Yeah, if it's not eating a delicious frozen burrito in Ice Palace, it's got to be using the Cane of Samaria.
Yes. And it's back-to-back. You get to do it twice in a row almost.
Oh, wait, I accidentally called it Ice Palace. It's Garbage Palace. Sorry.
Garbage Palace. Yeah.
Sorry, everybody. Sorry.
Complete and utter trash palace.
Super lame palace. Wow, SageLord having trubs with the fire rod aiming there.
Okay, he's got it.
Luckily, half magic means he's got plenty of extra shots.
That he does. Down to 4.5 hearts. What's the potion situation? Has he still got his blue goo? I think he does.
I think he does also, actually. We know Vascos used his for
yeah, for Mothula.
Mothula.
Yeah.
Well, Vascos might have been slightly on tilt earlier, but this is still muscle memory must be coming back, because this has been a really solid blind fight, except for maybe that 9th and final sword swing.
A little bit, but yeah, no, very nicely executed. Obviously, not going to find what he's looking for.
SageLord disrespecting the meme chest. I can respect that.
Yeah, I'm okay with that. He's not got a whole lot else really that he could possibly be using.
Yeah, literally the only like item that might make anything faster is getting Gold Sword, but
getting Gold
even
Sword,
that is borderline not worth the time for Ganon.
Yeah.
Ooh, nice triple.
Lovely.
SageLord brought his protractor to this fight.
Yes, he did. Oh, but then he dropped it. He dropped it after the first cycle.
He was trying to get out his slide rule also, and then just dropped everything.
Up to 4 hits out of 6, though, so let's see if you can get 2 more here. Ooh, doesn't quite line it up.
No, that went from a 3 to a 0 to a 1-1-1.
Yep.
Well, Vascos is on his way to the correct play, and he has just got to be keeping his eyes on that speed racing channel, looking for his opponent to dot done. His only hope would have been if his opponent had skipped the same palace, but we know that not to be true, unfortunately for him.
Yeah. Will be interesting to see if he does do the slightly different pathing that you mentioned, Files, as SageLord enters Ganon's little hole in the pyramid up here.
Yeah, with a small key early.
Yeah, you'll often see it.
Yeah, you'll see him jump down, but we'll see. Meanwhile, Ganon dropping some facts on us, some knowledge.
Yeah. You're gonna have a 2-cycle first phase. SageLord is taking care of that.
Does only have 3 hearts, so he'd have to be careful of a Ganon hug here. But he's got Cape. Oh wow.
Yes, down to 1 now. Touched a fire bat.
Well, he's got a lot of magic, and as you mentioned, I believe that blue potion is still in his possession.
Yeah, maybe you ought to I was gonna say, just use it, because no sense messing around. Vascos is gonna go ahead and do what you said, Files, so...
Yay!
Be getting his Ice Rod right around the same time SageLord reaches the final phase of the Ganon fight.
And that's almost insulting, really.
It is, in a way.
It's like, hey, I found the Ice Rod for Go Mode, and then your opponent .duns, and you're like...
Yeah.
Alright, so the big pig taking a couple of silver arrow shots. SageLord just barely misses the double there.
But he's got 4. Get your GGs out in chat for SageLord38.
Yeah, I mean, a sub 130. Very impressive.
Very, very impressive in a high-pressure situation. Finished official time of 1 hour, 26 minutes, and 21 seconds.
Yeah, very well done. Yeah, these 2 runners were very close for a good portion of the seed. I mean, they were following very similar routes. They were, you know, within a minute of each other for almost, you know, the first entire hour of this race, which for an hour and a half race is you know, I'm not doing math on stream, but that seems like a pretty large portion of the race.
It is a significant portion, yes.
Almost like 2/3, but let's not go crazy here.
Somewhere in there, you know. So no, I mean, 2 very good runners, keeping it close. Again, just remarkable that their thought processes were so similar for so long, with so many opportunities and options available.
Yeah, Vascos will have the quote-unquote advantage of having already gotten all the other keys in Turtle Rock. So at the very least, it'll be a fast Turtle Rock.
Yes, it will.
If there is such a thing, anyway. So I'd say between that and we know the big key being in the Red Stalfos room makes for a pretty quick GT as well.
And we welcome SageLord38 to the chat. GG.
GG, thanks.
So that escalated quickly.
Yeah, no kidding. Yeah.
Yeah, what was going through your mind? I mean, you had Dark World access before you even finished Escape.
Yeah, I was a little bit worried because I'm not like a very strong player when it comes to like low hearts, green mail, going into Dark World really early and doing like Thieves Town and stuff like that, but we managed to get blue mail and a few extra heart containers, so I felt a lot better once we got to Kakariko, especially after we got Flute and Mirror. Man, that was awesome.
Amazing.
Yeah, that's like the router's like dream, you know. Like finding that mirror was like, all right, well, this is going to be a contest of who can route the best. And honestly, for almost the entire first hour, you guys were just neck and neck. You made almost identical decisions. It was pretty incredible.
It really was.
Nice. Yeah, did he go into Swamp Palace really early as well?
Yeah,
he did,
right,
although
you
did have the advantage of you went to Generous Sky Cave first, and you were rewarded with boots. You did have boots for the entirety of that dungeon when your opponent did not.
Oh, okay.
So
outside of that, it was pretty tight.
A couple other things. It did open up a slight lead for you, which you obviously never relinquished. This big gap has opened up because you checked Palace of Darkness. Vascos decided to make the play on Turtle Rock, so right as he made that play, you opened the chest.
Oh, wow.
Downstairs in Palace of Darkness, and that was that, really, from that point forward.
Yeah, I felt pretty strongly about Pod just because we got the bow in a Sphere 1 location, and I don't think there was anything in Eastern Palace. In fact, I don't know if you guys saw me in Eastern Palace skip that chest. I thought I was in Go mode already, because I thought that Misery Mire was the crystal and not Turtle Rock. So I was like, wait. And I turned around real fast and got the chest again.
I just assumed that you were really excited about murdering Armos with your newly found bow.
Yeah.
Did you feel like you were behind when you found the bow? I mean, the bow was in the first sphere unlock location. Like, did you feel like you were behind when you got it? Were you worried that your opponent had had it for a while, or did that not really cross your mind?
No, I didn't think so, because there were so many crystal dungeons that were open. I kind of figured that my opponent would go, that Vascos would go to, like, I mean, I think Skull Woods and Ice Palace were both full clearable at that point.
Right.
But yeah, I don't know. I wanted to check Ice Rod Cave and Sarasala really fast before going to Skull. I was going to go to Skull Woods next and then do all the extra stuff around there. But
yeah, so Marshall's Cave is difficult to route in when the world opens up like that. I mean, it is 3 chests to check, but it's just kind of hard to time it.
Right. Yeah. I like to try and check it pretty. I mean, especially with flute, I don't think it's too big of a deal, too out of the way to just flute over and check the 3 chests really fast. Especially when you're only like 1 or 2 items away from Go mode. I think it's not a bad check before doing all these dungeons that would be faster in Go mode. I don't know.
Well, your decisions today were spot on. I mean, you can't have any complaints. Hour 26 in a 4-1 match when you're looking to advance to the brackets. How are you feeling?
Oh man, I'm so excited. I was so nervous. This is by far been my I was the most nervous before this race, but now that I think I'm guaranteed a bracket slot now, right?
Yes.
Correct.
So I can rest a little bit easier for at least next week. So
right.
Nice.
Well, good.
Yeah, the seeding is not determined on record. It's just either you make it or you don't, and then you're randomly seeded. So.
Right.
But you'll still have a match next week, so it'll be a good chance to test your skills and kind of see what the competition might be like in the bracket stage.
Yeah. Looking forward to it.
Meanwhile, your opponents is the GT routing ended up being pretty much a non-issue with no small key being on the right side. Even if you were doing like Dark Magician strats, everyone was going to find the big key right around the same time.
Right. Yeah, I was a little bit concerned whenever there was only Pendant Dungeons and then Turtle Rock open. So I'm really, really, really happy that I found the Ice Rod and Pod. Obviously, if the Ice Rod was in Turtle Rock, this could have been a completely different story. It's just one of those things.
Yeah.
That's Randomizer for you.
Yeah.
Yeah. Any other final thoughts on the seed? It was a pretty wide open seed at the beginning of the match, and you guys both kind of cleared a lot of chests in a short amount of time.
Yeah, I mean, just a really, really fun seed. Getting Flute, Boots, and Mirror so early, along with Dark World access, just made routing. I mean, yeah, the whole go to Catfish, Mirror, do Zora, and then getting Mushroom before that was like just the cherry on top. Just being able to route all that stuff felt really, really good. With the 5/6 Crystal, Pyramid, Mushroom, Catfish, Zora check, that was great.
Yeah, how about that Pyramid having the Ether Medallion?
Yeah, that was, yeah.
We're, after you finished the Pyramid check, you completed the routing, up through Witch's Hut and Catfish and Zora. But you did turn in, at that time, you were still looking for a few items. You turned in the Mushroom. Were you at all worried about, like, maybe including, like, a fake powder trick in with the routing? Did that ever cross your mind, or was the routing just so clean you just wanted to do it?
I thought about that. I thought about doing Blacksmith Purple Chest, because then the Purple Chest turn in kind of puts you, I mean, with the Flute it doesn't make much of a difference, but Purple Chest kind of puts you close to the portal to take the 5/6 bomb, Crystal Bomb around, but I don't know, that's definitely, the fake powder trick has definitely burned me in the past, where I turned in my Mushroom too early, so, but luckily in this seed it didn't make any difference.
Yeah, I mean, it is outside of the logic, so deciding when and how to do that is tough. And you can easily spend all that time setting up the trick and just not be rewarded also.
Right.
Alright, so I believe Vascos has already used his blue potion. So
Yes.
this 2 heart is real.
It is real. Ooh. Oh, gets hit
Yikes!
by
Oh, he
fireball.
makes it.
He does.
I have a feeling he's going to be picking up the heart that's in the pot in the upper left here. Yeah. Alright, now on to the best part of any gauntlet run is the Wizrobe block portion. Delicious.
Yes, indeed. It is delicious. Satisfying.
It is worth noting that since Vascos does not have the powder,
Oh dear.
he won't be able to use any powder like health recovery tricks.
Right. What he's got is what he's going to stay with, and he hits off that guy's fork on the way through, but does not take any damage.
That's a dangerous room. Like I don't know what the technical issues are with that room, but I feel like I'll dash in that room and get hit by a fork more often than not, and I don't understand why.
It happens way too often.
Probably just guard RNG and how they move.
Probably. So you've got one more heart up here, and you've also got extra ice spaghetti to avoid.
Yeah, I have a feeling he's going to, picking up that extra magic refill might have been up. Gotta light the other 2 torches, buddy. There you go. That might have been a pickup in case he needed to like use cape strats to get through any portion of these rooms if he had no hearts left.
Right.
Oh, the conveyor belt's not cooperating.
Oh, and hits the spike. He's down to 1.
Oh my god. Vascos, please. Oh god. Ah!
Okay, back
well,
up
he
to
gets
2.
Is there one heart in the middle of that? I don't remember.
We never saw it, so we don't know.
Oh, I meant under the skull pot.
Oh. No, I don't think so.
Well, one advantage that Vascos does have is he does have Butter Sword. He might check the meme chest in the vague hopes that it's got recovery.
10 arrows.
That's why the meme is dead, everybody.
A multiple of 4 piece of heart would have been an absolute godsend right there.
Yeah, that would have been glorious.
Yeah.
All right, this is going to be a tough. SageLord, you had an incredible start to your Aghanim 2 fight with a glorious triple.
Yes.
And then things went off the rails a little bit for you.
Yeah, it's not really my strongest execution fight for sure.
I was super impressed with that first triple.
Yeah, I mean,
Vascos
it's pretty easy to line up, I think. But yeah, I don't know. I don't usually hit triples at all. I try to get singles as much as possible.
Oh,
5.
Oh, Vasco's is doing a much better strategy than what I did.
He's got it.
All right, that fight could be tricky if the main Ganon gets too far off, sync from the Ganon, or excuse me, the Aghanim clones.
Right.
The timing can be really rough, and you could end up taking a lot of incidental damage, which Vascos cannot afford with his 2 hearts. Do you think he'll go down and grab the tree fairy, or is he just gonna man mode it all the way through?
I think he'll go grab a fairy.
I don't know. Maybe he's trying to inflict beep strats.
Ooh.
He is.
Wow.
Well, he's got Butter Sword, so
True.
he's gonna
That's
cruise through all these phases, and he's got half magic cape.
Oh, he only gets 5 hits in.
Oh, jeez.
Goodness.
Ganon had his number with that trident spin there.
Alright, gets his 6 in again.
Alright, with red mail, are bats fatal damage with 2 hearts? I do not remember.
Yes,
Yes.
they are.
I was not asking for a demonstration, I swear. It's alright. Honestly, the time to go down and get a fairy with all those steps is almost what he lost on the time there, so maybe that's what he was going for.
Yeah. Takes a few extra pot shots there. Very nice. I
He wants to show Ganon exactly what he thinks of his shenanigans.
Oh.
The tilt is real. God, every runner of this game has been in this exact position at least once.
Absolutely. I hope he's just having fun with it, and it's not, you know, giving him
My theory is that he really likes bacon. So when he fights Ganon, he's like, okay, I gotta kill this boss. Oh my god, he's made of bacon. And he like wants to go in for the hug, and then remembers that it's damage. That's my running theory. Maybe I'm just hungry because I haven't eaten lunch yet.
Ooh, that's a rookie mistake, man. All right, gets a shot at it. He's gonna have to dodge a little bit here.
Yeah, much cleaner first couple of phases here.
Yeah. Uh-oh. Uh-oh. Okay, he's fine. He's still on 6. Okay.
Alright, Ganon a bit kinder with the teleports in that phase.
Yeah, very much so. Little fake out from Ganon on where he decided to go.
Yeah, that was a very interesting teleport location there.
Yeah.
You almost never see the upper right to semi-upper right. Oh no, Vascos! Ah! No, maybe he just really likes that fight.
Hey, maybe he does.
He's just he really wants to prepare that pig for the fryer. So he's just buttering him up.
Slicing and buttering him up, yeah.
Yeah, exactly. Like he's just preparing him for dinner. And as we all know, good cooks use the sufficient amount of butter.
True, even on bacon.
Don't ask how. To be fair, though, that was a pretty ridiculous sequence of teleport locations that Ganon chose for that final phase there.
It was. There's no doubt about that. It was kind of all over the place. Okay, he's got his hits in. Extra one for fun. Somehow walks through the fire bats.
It was just Black Men.
Apparently.
Oh, Ganon stopped teleporting.
Yeah, again in warp game here.
Oh god, it begins. Alright, here we go.
Yeah.
Solid.
That's better.
Solid entry into phase 3. Significantly less fire bats this time around. The problem with fire bats in this phase is if you get the first fire bat, they're always on the screen and they interfere with your ability to not make him cast fire bats.
Another fire bat, yeah.
Yeah, in sequence of jumps. So like, if you get one fire bat, generally you're gonna see more than one.
Back to the same location. Okay, gonna be looking for a double here at least. Okay. Gets his third shot in.
Kind of not cooperating with a good spot for another double, but
that works. Nice and easy to finish it out. Well done. Chad, get your GGs out for Vascos.
Yeah, Vascos will be finishing with a official speed racing time of 1 hour, 43 minutes, and 17 seconds. So get out your GGs for Vascos.
And we welcome him into the chat with us. GG, Vascos.
GG.
GG Vascos.
So yeah, that ice rod location ended up being the linchpin for this seed, unfortunately.
Yeah, it happens like when there are 3 pendant dungeons and they can only one have the ice rod.
Yep. Did you feel like you were behind when you found the bow?
Yeah, but it didn't affect my decision making.
So the decision to go to Thieves Town wasn't predicated on let's avoid the bowlock locations. That was just something you wanted to route.
Yeah, it wasn't based on the bow location at all. Like, I felt like I had to go Turtle Rock to finish as fast as possible. Because...
Yeah, nothing wrong with that play for sure.
Oh yeah, I thought it was a great play. It didn't work out at the time, unfortunately.
Yeah.
I mean, this was a pretty wide open seed. You guys had full Dark World access before you even finished the escape.
Yep.
Yeah, you ended up. You and SageLord were actually very, very close for almost the first hour. You guys were basically within a minute of each other with the same general route, maybe minor deviations here or there, but you basically followed the same, the similar pattern. A lot of chest check in a very short amount of time.
Well, all right, guys. So do we have any final thoughts before we close this one out? Not all at once now.
Thanks to all the restreamers, commentators, trackers, organizers. They're doing a great job. It's awesome.
Well, hear to that. And Files, thank you very much for calling this one with me. It was good to have you along.
Likewise, always a treat, sir.
Absolutely. And our thanks once again to Dragon Strike 1988 on tracking. We couldn't do it without you as well. So GG to you.
Yeah, excellent. So yeah, we've got, if you haven't already, make sure you give a follow to Speed Gaming and the Speed Gaming family of channels. Speed Gaming 1 through 6, definitely bringing lots of great content with races and other such things. So make sure you check that out. We'll be seeing more of Vascos and SageLord next week. Vascos will be playing to clinch his spot into the bracket stage of this tournament. So make sure you check that out. And yeah, thanks for joining us, guys. We will see you next time.
So long.